Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's edition of the Monday Motivation. Now, I'm looking around because my camera, can you bear with me for 1 second? I want to make sure that you can see me. So in a few seconds, my camera is going to go a bit black. I've got a new screen protector on my phone. And if I'm not careful, it looks a little bit cloudy. So, is that a bit better? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you feel the vibe? It's Monday morning! Yay! And you know what? I am a little bit more joyful, a little bit more excited than usual to be doing this on a Monday. Because look, no artificial light. I'm looking outside, I'm in London, there's a beautiful blue sky and there's natural daylight. And that means one thing and one thing only, summer's coming, woohoo! But before we get to summer, we have spring. And before we get to spring, we have where we are right now. So, welcome this morning and can you just do me a favour? I haven't got my backup computer open this morning, so I just want to check to make sure that I can read your comments. So if you're watching this now, if you could type just a hi in the box below, and could you send like either a love heart or a thumbs up for me? I'm going to stare at my screen and see whether I can see anything or not. Because if not, I might have to run and go and get my iPod or something else so that I can see the comments that you are posting. And I can see that there are people watching, but I can't see any comments. So I haven't seen any thumbs up or loved hearts, despite the sometimes few seconds delay that comes across the screen. So it probably will mean that I can't see your comments too. And I'm just going to make sure that I've done everything I'm supposed to do my end. Okay. Is there something in my setup? Bear with me 1 second, because this morning, like any morning, it's important for me to be able to see and hear you. So just bear with me a second. Okay, let's see if this works. I decided to give my little Mac a proper night off. So usually I just shut the lid, which I'm sure is a bad habit and is leading to probably leading to it not being as quick as it should be. But I switched it off, I turned it down, turned it off, switched it off, didn't just put the lid down. I actually logged out of it last night and I thought, you know what? I'm going to let it have a break. So, apologies if you've written a comment or said hello. I will respond to those in a second as soon as I can see them on here. So, good morning and welcome to this week's edition of a Monday Motivation. Now, I want to start by saying hello to those of you who I can see are watching, but those of you who I can't see who specifically is watching or couldn't see your comments or your love hearts or your reactions. So from my heart to yours, I'm saying a massive good morning. So one of the things that I want to say to you is, have you ever heard that expression, there's nowt as queer as folk? I have to say it in a northern accent because us southerners don't say nout. Oh, well, I say nout, but lots of people don't. And if you're watching this back on the replay and you're thinking, what on earth does nout mean? It's English slang, English northern slang for nothing. So there's nothing as queer as folk. And people can be strange. And the strange person that I'm going to talk about today is me. I'm not going to talk about me today, but I'm going to talk about embracing the weird and the wonderful, especially when we're looking at, making life happen, setting goals, getting things done, or anything else that we perceive is important in that way. So I am a little bit annoyed that I cannot see the comments. Aha, my iPod is having a slow start to the day. Look at that, 9 comments, how rude, and I didn't even acknowledge them. Okay, so It just tells me who's watching with me. Aha, here they are. So Ian says, good morning, Jenny. I'm going to turn my volume down because I'm sure you don't want to hear me in stereo. So good morning, Ian. And then, oh gosh, there's loads of them. Oh, you're all saying good morning to each other. So we've got Ian on, we've got Ivona on saying good morning, Jenny. We have Ivona's saying good morning to Ian. We have Ali on, hey. We have France Lee's on, hey. Good morning, everyone. Oh, you love my dress, thank you. I thought I'd make an effort this morning. I got up like quite early this morning, in a good way, but quite early. We've got Ivona, Ian, Ali and France Lee. So let's crack on. So this morning, now if you haven't, let me start from the beginning for this to make sense. Why weird and wonderful? Now that's quite a used expression. Something is weird and wonderful. So yesterday I had the absolute fortune to check my phone and find out that I'd been tagged in a comment. It was actually, I was tagged in a writers group run by the lovely Jackie Malpass. Hey, Namisha's on. Hi, Namisha. I was tagged in a post by the lovely Jackie Malpass, who is a writer herself and helps people to write too. Now, she has a Facebook group here, and she had done a Facebook Live. I was completely blissfully unaware of this, and had tagged me in the Facebook Live. So I thought, oh, I've been tagged in a post. And I really do not ever like to not respond to somebody or anything else like that. So I clicked through to see kind of, you know, what it was about. Watch the Facebook Live, of course. And she said that I was inspiring. And one of the things I talk about a lot is receiving, and receiving compliments is one of them. So when anybody ever gives you a compliment, hey Alan, I can see you're on there too. When anyone gives you a compliment, the best thing to do, regardless of how you feel, like like Frances Lee said, I love your dress, thank you. I could go, oh, this old thing, or I picked it up from so and so, or whatever, but is to say thank you. She called me inspiring. And as many of you know, one of my passions in life are helping people to be seen, to be heard, to be visible. And one of the weird things that happens is, and not just for me, but for many of my clients and many of the people that I work with, is that when that starts to happen, it does feel a bit weird. So inspired by Jackie now, I decided that I was going to write a piece, and I wrote it last night, called Weird But Wonderful. So if you would like to see what that's about, do hop over to the Queen of Being Seen page and have a read of that there. Let me know your thoughts, let me know whether you resonate with it, let me know if you don't agree with it, don't resonate with it, or anything else at all. Because I realise that there's time to embrace the weird and wonderful. So everyone's saying hello. Namisha's saying, hi Ivona, how are you? And so you're saying hello to everybody. Hope you're well. Oh dear. Ivona, your neighbour was playing loud music till 3. Gosh, mine plays it till about 11 and then stops, which is quite good. They have their own watershed, but sometimes when you want an early night, that does not help. So what your job today, Ivona, is like get up, clash around, because if they went to bed at 3, they're likely to still be asleep. It's a good old holiday repping trick I learned when my clients used to come, when my guests used to come and complain that the neighbours had been keeping them up till really, really late, and they had to get up early the next morning. My advice is always get up early and like jump out of bed and start singing, oh, what a beautiful morning, at the top of your voice and clanking around, and it's a nice way to kind of balance it back out. Anyway, I digress. So the weirdness and the wonderful. I wrote this post yesterday because I inspired somebody and was therefore inspired. So that was a really great ripple effect. And one of the things that I noticed is that whether you're looking to be seen in your business, or whether you're looking to be seen in your life, or whether you're looking to set a goal, there's something that I observe all the time. So we have our dreams, we have our ambitions, we have our plans, we have the ways that we want to get out there in the world. And what we do is Namisha's laughing at my tip. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that too. It's a good tip. But we want to like set a goal or something like that. And normally when we set a goal, it's something that we're really passionate about. And it could be, I'll give you a kind of a good neutral, non-business related example. So I've been looking to be more active, to get a little bit more mobile, to get probably a bit fitter, because although I'm quite a skinny frame, I can sometimes spend long periods of time behind my computer, behind the camera, getting stuff done. And the lovely Greenwich Park is very close to me. So if I take a walk to Greenwich Park and back, that's around 5 kilometres, and around the park as well. So my goal, if you like, has been to be more mobile, to be more active, to start getting out there. So just think for a minute. Think of a goal that you've got, personal, business, both, or anything else in between. If you've got a goal, just give me either a thumbs up or a love heart across the screen, and I'll look on here. Look, there's me. There's me now. Isn't that strange? You can see there's a delay because I've just flicked my hair. It's weird, isn't it? Weird, but wonderful. So I can see that you're giving me love hearts and things like that. I can see it on here and not over there. So now I want you to hold this goal in mind, because there's something that I see. Even if we perceive it to be a small goal or we perceive it to be a big goal. So the first thing is that we tend to be a bit weird but wonderful in sizing our goals. We'll look at something and say, yeah, you know, I've been meaning to change my curtains or buy new curtains for my house for the last couple of years, and today is the day I'm going to do it. And you'll say, that's a small goal, that's easy. Building my empire, going out there and speaking in front of big stages to thousands of people. Ooh, that's a big goal. Therefore, we equate that to being a bit more scary. We're weird like that, humans, but luckily for you, I embrace weirdness. I love weirdness. I think weirdness is really, truly wonderful. So here's what we do. We're in the present moment. We've got our goal. You've all love-hearted and stuff and told me that you've got a goal or something that you want to achieve. It could just be something on your to-do list. And what we do, in that present moment, we have that goal, that thing we want to do. But what we then do is we look at where we want to be, which is fair enough. We need to know not necessarily how we're going to get there, but where we're going to. But then we project our worries and our fears. So we do this really strange thing. We're here right now. I want to walk to the park and do more steps. So then we go to the end goal. What would that look like? I'd be doing at least, you know, people say 10,000 steps a day. And I've even gone to the point of, I'll probably start off with 4,000 steps, 5,000 steps, then maybe 6,000 steps. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 10,000 steps. A few weeks later, 12,000 steps. So I now clearly know what I'm aiming towards. But the weird and wonderful thing we do as a human being, now we know that we want to achieve those steps and that growth. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do if it's raining? And all of a sudden we catapult from being where we were in the future, being able to clearly see the thing we want. We catapult back to the past when, oh my gosh, I did it about 4 years ago and I tripped over a rock and I hurt my knee. Oh no, what happens if I hurt my knee? And all of a sudden we've come out of the thing that we're really like bringing into fruition, gone way back in the depths of our past, and we're just like concentrating on what could go wrong. Oh, and then another time I went and it poured down with rain and I got wet and then I got a cold and then I was ill in bed and oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Why do we do that as humans? Why do we do that? There's a very, very well-known saying about if we're worried, we're living in the past, and if we're stressed, we're trying to live in the future. There's only one answer to this, and this is so fundamental for stopping the weirdness from being something we don't want, turning the weirdness into a wonderful. Being present and in the moment is to focus on the moment. So here's how we do it in a practical way, and here's how I would invite you to do it for this Monday. And if you want to keep a progress report, let us know how you're going on. I truly invite you to do something for me this week. If you're not already part of the Visibility Vibes tribe, hop on over there, click and ask to join, I'll let you in. So today, I would love you to share just one thing. You don't even need to go into the full detail, as long as you've got the detail. So if it's walks to the park, you'll be walking to the park and doing however many steps. If it's changing your diet, you will eliminate maybe 1 cup of coffee every morning. It could be that you're going to make sure that by 10 o'clock you are sat in bed with a book on your lap, ready to read for 5-10 minutes and then switch the light off and go to bed. It could be that you're going to look at how you plan your business and what you do moving forward. It could be that you're going to really look into the job that you're doing at work and how you can reach that promotion, or how you can engage and connect more with your fellow colleagues. I don't mind what your goal is, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a piece of paper and literally, do not take any more than 5 minutes for this exercise. You don't need more than 5 minutes. Take a piece of paper, draw a circle. In one circle, I want you to write a P. And then I want you to draw another circle next to it. Doesn't matter, as long as you have an order to it that feels good for you. In that circle, I don't want you to put anything. And in the third circle, I want you to put a D in there. So a P to start off with, a D in the end circle, but the middle circle I want you to leave blank. Now, first circle, I want to encourage you to look at where you are right now, your present state. I'm currently doing an average of 6,000 steps a day, which I know isn't very good, but that's fine. But all I want you to do is have a look at where you are right now. So did you see what I just accidentally did there? I'm human too. My present state is I currently average 6,000 steps. Stop, Jenny, stop. The fact that, I don't think it's very good, is all mental mind chatter. It's not helpful to setting a goal. So currently, write down where you are presently in the area that you want to see your goal. Does that make sense so far? Just check on there. Hey, Beata's on. Morning, Beata. So I've only said, this is my goal today, strangely love. Focus on the now, focus more on the future. And when you focus on the future, you will notice that you will feel just that little bit more highly strung and stressed. When we worry, it's normally the past, but when we feel a bit stressed, it's because we're hopping into the future, okay? So on that piece of paper, under the P, I want you just to sit and look at where you are right now in relation to your goal. Now, I don't want you to make any internal commentary on it. I don't want you to make any internal comment, just pure hard facts. Pretend you're a newspaper reporter or TV reporter, and you have to report that today, and it's helpful to say this in like third sort of, third person language. Just say, today, Jenny Kovacs is looking at increasing her steps from a 6,000 average into a 12,000 average. She hopes to do that by increasing that gradually. That's all. We don't say, Jenny Kovacs is feeling like, oh, but if it rains, she might not do it. You don't want any of that, okay? So you're describing your present state. Then you'll go into the future state. What do you want to achieve? Now, there's something very interesting about this that is weird yet wonderful, that sometimes we don't know what we want to achieve. We don't know what we want to achieve. And because it's vague, we don't really know how to get there. And because we don't know how to achieve it, then we start going back to the past and start worrying about stuff. Or because we're not clear on what we want in the future, then we start feeling stressed because we're now projecting what it's going to be like in the future. But instead of having this clear picture, we're starting to say, yeah, but this could happen and that could happen, but I don't want this and I don't want that. Well, what you don't want isn't important when you're going to motivate your week. So if you want a week that feels more clean, clear and organised, and I can speak for myself on this, my office looks a little bit like an explosion's happened. I came in from a live event that I did on Saturday. And as I put my case down, I had this idea that I was going to start putting everything away. So I took everything out, left a pile of books. You know, the bookshelf isn't too far away. It's less than a few metres away. So one of the things that I will do to get organised is I'm going to spend a few moments. I've already got a rough plan of the week, but I'm going to spend a few moments, not getting a rough plan, but a significant plan. A significant plan doesn't need to take me time. I too will do the exercise. P, what do I want for this week? I want the steps, but I also want this week to be organised because I've got a day of the week that I'm not going to be able to do any work and I'm not working next weekend. So I've got 4 days to do it in, so I need to be uber organised. And one thing that's actually going to help me to be organised is the space in which I'm going to be working. Piles of books few notes and a few random post-it notes is not going to make a conducive place for me to get really laser focused. Hopping onto Facebook every 5 minutes is not going to be a conducive place to get me focused. So I now know where I want to be, where I'm aiming to, what I want to do. I have a couple of projects that I'm working on, but I'm going to work on one by one. I'm not going to start the next project until I've finished the one before. So that way I know my energy is not scattered. Okay, so now I'm really clear on the future state. So we've got the P is the present state, what's present for us at the moment, and the D is what we desire. So whether it's a goal or a plan, it's where we're going to, what we desire. So now we've got that, we need to look at what we can do to get there. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do this depending on your makeup. Once you're clear of what you want to get in that last desired state, and if you have written something down and you realise you've got about 12 things in there, you need to break those goals down. You probably need to break them into 12 separate goals. And if you're like, oh my gosh, now there's so many, I don't know which one to choose, choose the one that will make the biggest difference. And often the one that will make the biggest difference with the smallest amount of leverage is it will take me 10 minutes to pick up books. Maybe I'll give it a bit of a hoover. The curtains are open, which is great. I might even sort of put something nice out, clear my desk. I might have a look at some paperwork that's visible in my way, and rather than sticking it in the drawer out of the way, which will clear the space, I might have a quick look through it. Depends. If it's not going to take me under 10 minutes, I'm not going to do it. So now I've done that. I've now got this nice clear space. And now I can be more effective in what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how I'm working. I'm not looking back at last time. I'm not trying to future pace to the forward and the future and everything else like that. I now know that in order to get from where I am now to where I am in the future, there are a few things that need to happen. And that becomes my checklist, that becomes my stepping stone, that becomes my to-do list, if you like. So what I'd really like you to do, if you're in the Visibility Vibes tribe, underneath the post where it says Monday Motivation, I want you to just put what your present state is. Like, I currently do no steps, but I want to do 60,000 steps a day by the end of June, or whatever the thing is. Now, if you find that you're writing reams and reams and reams and reams and reams, then it's too big. I want you to try and get it down to, as my old one of my old mentors used to say, my old teachers, a one-liner. So a one line of where you are now and another line of where you want to get to. On Wednesday, when we have our Q&A Wednesday in the group there, I'd love you to report back on what you discovered were your steps and how you're going to move forward. Okay, so what you discovered today were your steps, and how you moved forward. So by Wednesday you would have started to action a couple of those steps. Okay, so I'd love you to share that. And if you can't join live on Wednesday, where I put the little picture to say Wednesday Q&A, just pop it in the box below, or pop it onto the Monday Motivation so we can find it. Okay, so this is a little bit of how we do our Weird to Wonderful. Now, I have to say that the post that I wrote over on the Queen of Being Seen page, although more lengthy than the normal average post, this was a demonstration of how I felt when Jackie shared what she wanted to share and said that she was inspirational. Because once upon a time, that was a goal of mine. My goal is to spread a massive ripple effect across the world. Now, I could go into the past and get worried. And if you've got any questions, by the way, do type them in and I'll take a look in a second, questions and comments. At one point, somewhere in my psyche went, I want to be able to do this thing. I want to be able to make a difference in people's lives. I want to be able to help them spread their ripples far and wide. I made that decision at some point. And at some point, if we're being totally honest, I would have gone, oh my gosh, but it's going to mean that I'm going to have to do this thing or that thing, and people might not like it, and people might laugh at my sticky uppy hair, and people might say, oh, well, that lady liked her dress, but I don't. But I had all the same concerns as you. excuse me, I had all the same concerns as you. I had all the same worries and fears. I did the whole thing. How am I going to speak to all these people? How do I know? I don't even know this on technology and da-da-da-da-da. So I had to like rein myself in, as I like to say, check myself before I wrecked myself. I had to rein myself in. I did something very similar, although not maybe so consciously, was like, okay, where am I at now? What specifically do I want to be? What am I desiring? What's the desired piece that I'm working towards? And then, rather than going, so what needs to happen, maybe stand from the place of the desire and say, oh, so in order for that 12,000 steps to happen, I did 10,000 steps a week on average. And in order for that to happen, I did 6,000 steps a week. And in order for that to happen, I realised that I had to get up half an hour earlier, quickly like put my trainers by the side of my bed. So the minute I got up, I put my feet in my trainers, quickly had a glass of water, put my headphones on, went straight out the door so I didn't have time to think about it, then came back, then had my shower, which would have been at the same time, and then had my breakfast. And when you start from your desire and work backwards, something weird and wonderful happens. You start to get what you want. It starts to make sense. It starts to feel easier. It starts to be able to be cultivated. So I'd love you to let me know how you've got on and how you get on in the week. I will just go back now and read your comments, and I could see that there's been people joining as I've been speaking. So if you're wondering why I'm holding this in my hand, I can't see your comments there. So look at this weirdness. I'm watching myself so that I can read your comments. So France Lee says, definitely love what you're sharing. Absolutely, France Lee. It's an inner game. Any good sports coach will tell all of us, it doesn't matter what we're doing, it's an inner game. And it's not necessarily that I'm better at hiding how I feel. It's where I put my focus and my attention. Quite often when I'm in a place where I'm in, I look at where I want to go to. And a lot of people, to make this really simple, will spend more time and energy looking back and validating the fears of why they can't do something. They'll spend their time and energy maybe looking at the future of what they want to do and how difficult it's going to be, or how hard it's going to be, or how much technology they don't know, or how much clarity they need before they get there, or how actually I've just identified it could be my mindset, or it could be the way I think about things. Or just to validate that, they'll go back into the past and they'll go, no, well, that's to be expected because that's how I was brought up. That's what a lot of people will say. I hear people say, I was brought up that way, oh, it's my inner child, there's a lot of wounds that need to be healed, and I get that, but it's not true. When you are doing something in the future, you don't know what the future is going to bring because you haven't lived it. And anything that seems like a logical reason or excuse is actually our minds putting the fear in the way. So if any of you watching this find that that's what happens, it's because you're spending more time on cultivating your fear than cultivating your desires, if that makes sense. So, yeah. Oh, bless you. Thank you, France Lee. Says, love it. So I needed to hear this. Beata says, that's so true. Quick wins are very motivating. They are. And often when we perceive that we've got, this is the problem about perceiving something being a big thing to do or a small thing to do, we add stuff onto it. It's like little stickle bricks. I don't know, what's like Velcro. Imagine that the big thing to do is Velcro. We start adding these little extra bits to stick on there as to why it's going to be difficult, and it's just not true. So have a look for what I call the leverage point, the smallest thing that's going to make the biggest difference. If you want to sit down and be creative at your desk and it's covered in papers, I don't care if you don't tidy up the desk. If you literally sweep your arm across the desk and brush everything to the floor, your desk is now tidy and you're going to feel a little bit more creative. You might have the small issue of the floor now looks like a bomb site, and that might stifle your creativity. But what you're doing is the smallest thing is going to make the biggest difference. Put a coat over it, get into your creative space. Feeling overwhelmed, go for a walk. Stop thinking about all the reasons that you can't or the things that can go wrong. That's how we become a bit weird as humans. So Namisha says, one sharp punchy line and keep it simple. When I did this exercise with Jenny, we agreed it should do what it says on the tin. Keep it real and relatable. Absolutely. And I love that you remembered that, and I love that you remembered the word relatable. People say, keep it real, and what is it? And keep it, my mind just went blank there. You know when people say like set a reasonable goal or something like that. That then adds one of those horrible little sticky balls of Velcro on to say that means it's something you can do or something you can't. Whereas when it's relatable, you can relate back to it. Quote of the day for the Vibers. Namisha, please cut and paste that wherever you can. And if you want to tag in this video or anything, I'd be super grateful. In fact, if any of you want to share this, because you know this is not business related now, this is life related. So there'll be people on your timeline who are going through a stressful day and they don't even know that this exists. So I want to work out my content plan this week. Okay, so that's really great. And already in that, and knowing that I spent time with the lovely Beata on Saturday, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is not to work out a plan. All I want you to do is look at where you are now and look at where you want to get to. Making the plan without looking at those two is jumping ahead. And what that will lead to, I guarantee you, if you start looking at creating a big content plan, you are going to feel stressed and overwhelmed because it's going to feel like a lot to do and there's going to be pieces missing to the puzzle. So Beata, especially for you, if you're thinking of your content plan, look at where you are now and look at specifically which bit of the content plan. If it's just to share stuff, the answer is just start sharing stuff. We did a lovely exercise on what shall I share on Saturday, where we went through what could have been a funnel, but I think we're all sick of funnels. But we looked at creating some content to put out there, and it's a very quick and easy way that you can do it week by week, day by day if you need to. So Namisha says she's loving my dancing this morning. That was my walk. This is my dancing. Oops, she says, pulling her microphone off. That's what you get for showing off. So hopefully this has all been helpful to you. I don't know if you've got any questions. If you do, type them in the box now, because I'm about to love you, leave you and say goodbye. I really, really hope that this has been helpful to you. And I would really encourage you to go over to the Queen of Being Seen page and read The Weird But Wonderful, because this is a true account of what actually happens on the other side. So if somebody had asked me 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago about my thoughts of starting a business, I would have put all that. I've never started a business, I've never done it before, I'm really worried, I don't know how it's going to end, I don't know what's going to happen. I'd have put all of that in there. But the thing that's weird and wonderful, and sometimes feels slightly strange, is when people start quoting you. When people start saying, well, you really inspired me, you caused me to change how I was thinking about something. And of course it's like a big desire of mine so that I can spread those ripples far and wide. But actually it does for a moment feel a bit strange. And I explain why in that article. So do take a read of it. As I say, if you've got friends that you know would love this, please share it with them. And if you don't ever want to miss a Monday motivation, just click the like button first of all to this page, click on subscribe and get notified of updates. And every time I go live, it will pop up and let you know. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Thank you, Namisha. Thank you, Beata. Thank you. Who else did we have on there? We had Ali, we had Alan, we had France Lees, we had Ivona, and we had Ian, I believe. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to let me know how you get on, either under this video, which you can do, it's a public page so everyone can read it, or if you want somewhere a little bit more private and more comfortable, then join us in the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an absolutely blessed morning. The sun's out, the sky's blue. I'm going to be going for a walk in a little while, so I'll see you later. Lots of love to you all. Bye for now.